Everybody. So in this video, we are specifically going to discuss the immune response to a pathogen. So when it comes to immune responses, we have a primary immune response, which is the first time your body recognizes a pathogen and creates antibodies to fight it off. This can be B or T cells, right? Once you do that, your body's ideally going to be able to fight off that infection and keep you safe. And at the end of that, your body's going to create some memory cells. So that way, next time that pathogen is seen, if ever, your body is able to create these antibodies even quicker and have a much faster and stronger immune response. So that way, you're not sick as long and you can get over that illness quicker. Right. So, in other words, the primary response is the first time you see it and you create memory cells. The secondary immune response is the next time you see it, and it should be much faster, and the response may be even more long lasting so that you can make sure that you can fight off that pathogen quicker and more efficiently. This is represented in a graph like this, where on the left hand side you can see we're discussing the concentrations of antibodies in your plasma and the number of days that those antibodies are remaining in your plasma after that initial exposure to the antigen on the pathogen. So, in other words, 0 is the day you are exposed to the pathogen. If it's your first time being exposed to the pathogen, you can see on the bottom line, it just takes time for your body to start and create antibodies, B cells and T cells, to fight that pathogen. Again, because this is the first time you're doing it, you are going to create memory cells that will help you out the next time you see it. And that's why, if you look at the second graph, you can see that the response is way faster and you create many more of these antibodies that are actually going to also last longer too. So look at the concentration after 10 and 20 days and even 30 days. It's going to remain in your blood longer, so that way you can continue to fight it off just in case. So this is just showing the importance of the primary response the first time you see a pathogen, and the next time you see it in the secondary response. So with that said, we have the different practical classifications that we use. The first one is naturally acquired active immunity. A lot of words. Let's just break it down. So it's natural because you are exposed to it, right? So let's say it's the flu. Let's say you are outside and you're talking with someone and you get the flu from them, right? This is naturally acquired because you just got it naturally. It's the live pathogen. And the symptoms of the disease are going to stimulate that immune response, whether it's primary or secondary. So, in other words, you got sick from someone just in regular life, and your body had to actively fight off, actively fight it off. Option two is artificially acquired active immunity. So, because it's active immunity, again, your body's going to fight it off, right? It's going to fight it off for you, but it's artificially acquired. We call it that because this is where you are exposed via a vaccine. So the vaccine is usually a weakened version or a dead version of the pathogen or its components. So you're artificially inoculated with a vaccine, and it's going to cause your body to react. That is the active part. Your body is going to react to it. And this is why, if we're talking about different types of vaccines, let's say polio, for example, depending on the person, me personally, um, I would like to have the secondary response the first time my body ever sees polio, if it ever is exposed. I don't want to risk the primary response because if you know anything about polio, you can have significant um, damages that happens to your body when your body tries to fight it off. Right. So this is why people will take vaccinations so that way your primary response is not to the full pathogen. It's to a weakened or a dead version. So anyways, the next two to talk about, artificially acquired passive immunity. So in this case, you are getting an injection. However, it's of the antibodies. So when you get these antibodies injected into you, you are not creating them. So it is passive. You are not creating those. So these are going to, for a short period of time, um, float around in your plasma to fight off whatever the infection is. So you don't have to create these antibodies yourself. You're just injected with someone else's. And then the last one is naturally acquired passive immunity. Again, you are not creating the antibodies, but in fact, someone else is, and they are giving them to you. And that is from the mother, right, to a fetus. So when the mother is breastfeeding, or if the mother is still attached to the fetus, her blood will create those antibodies and then pass them through the bloodstream to the baby so they can have an acquired immunity. However, they're not creating the antibodies themselves, they're just getting them from mom. So, if you have any questions on any of this, please let me know.